Hello, everyone. My name is George. Welcome to another episode of Girls and Gays. Let's talk. I have my co-host here.
Marissa.
Hey, Marissa. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for today's episode.
Yes, it's very something very unexpected, I think, compared to what we usually talk about.
Yes.
So today is actually National Friends Day.
Best Friends Day.
So, and we're talking about losing friends, which is kind of
Yes.
weird.
Ending friendships.
Yes, and why they ended.
So me and this friend, we'll just call her Cindy. So me and Cindy met because we were in high school together, and she just became my friend out of nowhere. And it was like the craziest thing because I'm like, I have no idea who you are. She just became friendly with me, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, we could be friends. And I was hanging out with, like, we would be at lunch together, and she's like, that guy's cute. I'm going to go be his friend. And I'm like, what? And then the next week they were hanging out. And I'm like, what? So, like, she would pick the people that she wanted to be friends with. And I'm like, okay. So things were good and everything. And it was after college or after high school. We were in community college together, and we were still talking. We did have a falling out prior because she had asked me for my opinion, and I had given it to her honestly, and she didn't like what I had to say. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but that's honestly how I feel. And I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to you for lying, but you know, and she ended up transferring to a different school, which was Alpha. It was like where you go to graduate sooner. And a lot of the girls who got pregnant or guys who were failing because they were on drugs, they would go there.
Okay.
So that's where she went. And then we didn't talk for a couple months. And then we ended up reconnecting. And she would always tell me these crazy stories. And there is this one story where she was like, oh, yeah, it was so great, this, that. And she ended up changing her story a few months later. And she's like, and, you know, that person, they were just so angry, and their eyes, all of it just turned black. And I'm like, what? She's like, it was like he was some kind of demon or something. I don't know. And I'm like, that's literally insane, because like I believe in like angels, demons, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like 10, 12 years later, me and my husband just recently started watching Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And the demon's eyes turned fully black.
Yeah.
She loved Supernatural.
So that's what she came up with it.
Yes, that is what she, and I'm like, oh, if we were still friends, I would text you right now and call you out on this.
Yeah.
But, and so she was planning on moving out with her significant other. And she's like, I'm so excited. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I'm so happy for you that you get to do this. But as far as your job and everything, you don't have a driver's license. You don't have a car. How are you going to get to and from work? And she's like, oh, my significant other is going to drop me off. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, but he works the opposite way. And like, I would tell her, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like you should have your license and a vehicle before you move
especially
out.
here.
Yeah.
Here's a huge driving city. Like, it's hard to get around without a car.
Yeah. And she finally had enough of it. And she had messaged me, and she's like, you know what? You're a bad friend, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, literally, I just want to be honest with you. And so she blocked me on everything, but she kept my best friend at the time. And she kept my sister. She kept all of my people that knew her because of me. Mm-hmm. She kept them on Facebook. And I'm like, girl, these are my people. like,
what are you doing?
And I guess she unblocked me recently because she came up on my people you may know. Mm-hmm. And I was like, should I look? So I took a peek at her profile, and it seems like she's doing good. It seems like they really worked out. I'm happy for her for that. And she has 2 kids now.
Dang.
And I'm like, good for you. Like, you did it. Like, you got what you wanted.
That's funny. My reaction completely opposite. It's like, dang, that's awful. Like, she's getting the suffering she deserves.
No. She wanted to be a mom. And that was something that I knew very early on in our friendship. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I can't wait for you to be a mom. But yeah, it's, I guess, like, having complete honesty with people who say they want honesty but don't have it.
Yeah.
It's a rough.
I feel like that's very common though. People say they want the truth, but rarely do they really want it.
Yeah. I mean, if I say I want the truth, give it to me, but don't give it to me harshly.
Put a Band-Aid and then say it and slowly get harsher.
Yes.
No, I'm like, just tell me.
No, not me. I need you to warm me up. I need you to give me reassurance first.
Okay. That's funny.
And your story?
Okay. So mine, I'm going to say the real name because I don't give a fuck. So his name was Nick.
Okay.
And so I met him because he was actually my cousin's neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had just broken up with someone, so I was having an awful day. Like I had been crying and all that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get on, the app everyone gets on. And I met him. Nothing really happened. Like we made out, but that was it. And so, so from there, it's kind of how we became friends. I don't know. Like I never wanted it to be more with him at the beginning. I wanted something more like later on, but I knew it was never going to happen. So I just like let it go.
Yeah.
So, so we became friends. I met all his friends group that they all worked together.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's met some of my friends, but for some reason, he always found something he hated about each and every one of them.
Of course.
Yeah. Like for some reason, like whenever he met like one of them, he was like, he's just weird. Like, I don't get what you're friends with him. I'm just like, you met him one time, like, and y'all didn't even speak to each other.
Oh.
Like, how is he the weird one?
So how long did he do that for?
We were friends for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We were friends. But so we stopped being friends because for his birthday trip, we were all gonna go to Austin and celebrate his birthday. So I paid for the hotel because it was gonna be me and him in a hotel because we were the only ones in the group that were single at the time. So we're gonna get 2 beds and sleep in the same hotel. Mm-hmm. And then, no, we never fooled around. Okay. So, really, we were just friends. Okay. And so, but then he ended up getting back with his ex, which he kept breaking up with to start dating somebody else.
So it was just a way for him to cheat, but be justifiable.
Yes, because he technically wasn't together anymore. Yeah. So this guy lived in California.
Oh my! And he lived all the way in Texas.
And yeah, he lived here.
How?
And then he had a guy that he wanted to be with like long term, but couldn't get it together. That also lived in Houston.
Okay. And
so yeah, he'll break up with the California guy, then he'll get back together with this one. Then they'll break up, and then he'll get back together with the California guy, and then that's pretty much what go back and forth.
Is that common?
I've never met anybody else that does that. Except for him.
Okay.
But he wasn't on this whore. He slept with everyone.
Oh, my God.
He was. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He did. He slept around with everyone. Mm-hmm. Like, there'll be times that he'll be like, I'm having a rough day. He'll call me and be like, I need you to come over because I feel bad. And I was like, okay, sure. Drop everything and go see him.
Yeah.
And then he'll call someone over to his house to sleep with. And I'm like, really? Why'd you call me here?
Yeah.
Just to call somebody else.
I guess it was. Yeah. Oh, I guess he was maybe waiting on a response from that other person. And in the meantime, I don't understand people like that.
Well, people kept telling me that he wanted something from me, but he would never tell me. And I was like, I don't know.
Isn't that the worst? Whenever somebody's interested in you and you're interested in them as well. But
honestly, at that time, I wasn't anymore. Like I wasn't. Yeah, just because like the more I met, like the more I knew him, it's like I would never date you. Oh my goodness. Just because of how much he slept around, and then so like the one thing that it made everyone think that he wanted something with me is because he got really really drunk. Mm-hmm. And then he would I had to baby him to the car. And it made me so mad because I hate dealing with drunk people.
Oh my God. And so don't get drunk around you.
Well, you can just let your husband take care of you. I don't want to be the one holding your hand. I just don't want to deal with having to take somebody home and like
yeah, I understand.
having to walk them to their bed, like make sure they don't like hurt themselves, like babying someone.
Yeah.
Like I don't like children because I don't like taking care of them. I don't want to be taking care of an adult either.
Yeah.
That's just not who I am.
You don't like kids, so you don't want. I saw this thing that it was like, guess if this was a child who did or said this, or guess if it was a drunk adult. And then they would say them, and it's like, okay, it's definitely a child. Nope, drunk adult.
Yes, that's kind of how it is. Mm-hmm. And so I had to. So he was demanding like a last drink, and he was already gone. So I took him. Water. Yeah, no. What I did was I took him to my favorite bartender.
Okay.
And he gave him just Red Bull and told him it was Red Bull with vodka.
Oh my! I love that.
Like he put like his finger in front of the spout so like nothing would come out. So he made it look like he was putting alcohol in it, even though he wasn't.
Yeah.
And so because I knew this bartender, I know who he was, I know how he is. It's the only reason I went to him and was like, please don't give him anything in Spanish because he didn't speak Spanish. Oh. And he's like, I got you. And he knows I don't like drinking. Mm-hmm. And so he did the same thing for me.
That is so sweet.
And so, yeah, so I love that bartender. So he did that. And then I was like, okay, you got your last drink. Let's go. And then he got mad that I had to put the car, like I put him in the car. And then as I was putting in like in drive or whatever, he got mad that I let go of his hand.
Are you kidding me? While you were reversing?
Yeah, while I was trying to reverse. And so I had to hold his hand the whole way.
You just punch him and knock him out?
I kind of wanted to. I was so angry. But actually, it's funny because the next morning he woke up with a giant bruise, like on his ribs. Did? Yes, I don't know where he got it from.
Oh my God.
To this day, I have no idea where he got it from.
Well, I guess we can thank the person who did. Give them that.
No, I don't know. It could have been like, I'm thinking more than likely, like in the middle of the night when he got up from drunk, he probably hurt himself at his own house. But yeah, but I was so mad. I was like, I don't want to deal with this person. But we still kept being friends and all that. So back to the birthday story. So he got back together with his ex. And so apparently he used the money I gave him for the hotel to change the hotel we were going to go at. He picked a cheaper hotel and then asked me if I would watch his dogs for him because now he was going to go with his ex and not with me.
And how long was he going to be gone for?
For the weekend.
Okay.
But I was like, why would I not go? I'm the one that paid for the hotel. Yeah.
Wait. So you reserved the hotel for the both of y'all in Austin.
Yes.
And then he's like, stay home, watch my dogs.
Yes.
Well, I go, and did he even offer to pay you back?
No. Well, he like offered it, but it like.
Can we call Nick up right now?
I don't know his number.
I just want to yell at him right now.
So I don't know his number anymore. Anyway, so yeah, he kept the money. He picked a cheaper hotel than the one we were supposed to stay at. And so, yeah, so he came over.
So you watched his dogs?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I was so mad that he was doing that
so
I was
who
like,
did?
I'm not going to. I don't know who did. I have no idea. I think he took him with him.
Oh.
Yeah.
What a douchebag.
He said he was no longer inviting me because I didn't like one of his friends. It's like.
Although he had a problem with every single one of your friends.
Yes. And he actually, the only reason I had a problem with this friend is because of everything he told me about them. He was telling me they were talking shit about me and all that.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so stupid.
Yes. So it was like, my only issue with them is the things you have told me.
Yeah.
So it's your fault to have an issue with this person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was crazy. I don't know why we were friends. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped hanging out with him. I no longer went out. But I was already like fading out. I was starting to because of how annoyed I was being with him.
God, that sucks.
Yeah, I still every now and then saw the other people in the group, just not as much. Like I would just happen to run into them kind of a thing.
Once again, George running into every single person from his past.
I know, but it was because I would go to like where they work just because that's where I bought my cologne.
Oh, okay.
And so I would always see them there.
No, George was a stalker.
No.
That's exactly what it was.
And then I think once I saw them like going out drinking, but I ran the other way. I didn't go say hi.
Yeah, especially them drinking
Yeah,
after
like,
what you
yeah.
experienced.
But he actually moved to California.
He did?
Yeah, he ended up moving because he
Are
called
they
me.
married now?
No, they actually have broken up recently. That I could tell because
Oh
every now and
my
then I would get on
God.
like the guy's
Facebook?
Instagram,
Oh, Instagram. Okay.
and I read like last time I got on, I saw that he wasn't on it anymore. Nick wasn't in it, so it's like, oh, they must have broken up.
Oh God.
I'm like,
Nick,
good
you
for
suck.
him.
Yes. Hopefully this is the
deserved
final
better.
time.
Yeah. So yeah, he moved to California. He called me, and then he was asking me how I was doing, and I happened to be hanging out with my friend that he said was weird, and somebody else that I had told him like that I liked,
Yeah.
and
So whenever he would talk
yeah.
bad about your friends, would you tell your friend what they said?
no,
Oh.
I didn't see the point. I'm like, you're never gonna see them again. I'll just make sure. Yeah.
Wow.
So I never hanged out with them together. Is what I did.
That's it seems like he was trying to isolate you.
Yes, that's how I felt too.
Yeah.
So that I purposely like kept them separate from my other people.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Jesus. I don't understand why people are that way.
yeah, I don't know, but I find it weird also that I would like go to his house because we were gonna hang out,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll be dressed to go, but he would then change to match whatever I was wearing.
Oh, he was into you.
I found that so weird. I was like, why? Like, if I was wearing a white shirt, he had to change to a white shirt. If I was
Did
wearing
you
a
ever
black
ask
shirt,
him about it?
no, I just felt it was weird and just moved on. But then whenever I figured it out and noticed every single time he was doing it, I purposely wore colors I knew he didn't have.
Did he go out and buy those colors?
No.
Oh my God. So what, you took a peek at his closet?
Yeah, I've been in his closet
Oh my
many times.
God.
Like I've seen everything he has
Sneaky
in there.
George.
So I'll start wearing different colors. Colors I know he didn't have.
Colors that he didn't even look good in.
Yeah, it was funny.
Oh
And
my
so,
goodness.
yeah,
Do you ever reflect back on that old friendship and like think, oh, maybe I could have done something different or
sometimes, but I feel like it isn't like maybe if I would have done this, it wouldn't have ended the way it did. It's more like I should have ended this long ago.
sooner? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because like remember one time we got in a fight over because so he was doing a Thanksgiving party and he asked me to go and I said, sure, I can do the Thanksgiving one because my family always celebrates it a week early.
Mine too. Mine too, yeah.
So I was able to go to his Thanksgiving. That was actual Thanksgiving day.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wanted a what's those called? Like the board with the cheese and the
Charcuterie board.
charcuterie board. That's what he wanted.
What we had at book club the other night. Last
That's
night.
true. So I spent like, no joke, hundreds of dollars doing this.
You made it yourself?
I made it myself.
You could have gone to HEB.
I know. I actually got a lot of supplies from HEB, but I wanted like the good shit. I didn't want like a crappy one because it was going to
HEB has
be.
great quality.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted like actual like prosciutto and like I wanted actual.
I don't even know what that is, but okay.
I wanted like fancy shit. And
Once
so-
again, we need a bell whenever, anytime you say something that makes you bougie, bing. That's what I was just starting.
I know, but I was an idiot. And so, yeah, I spent all this money on it. And then most of it wasn't even eaten. So I was so mad.
That would piss
And I was
me
like,
off.
you know what? Whatever. I'm not going to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then for Christmas, he asked me if I would do another one.
the nerve.
Yes, I said, and I told him no, because the Christmas one, I knew I was going to be able to attend. It was the same day as my family Christmas one.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him I can't go to this one. And he's like, well, can you do one anyways? And I was like,
Are you
I'm
going to
not
pay me
even
the
going to
money?
be here. I told him, and I spent a lot of money on the last one, and nobody even ate it. And he was like, well, I didn't know you were going to be nickeling and diming me. Like, he was all mad. And he was like, I was going to pay for it. It's like, dude, you can barely afford
A hotel
to
that
pay.
you
No,
pay.
this is like before. So
Oh.
he couldn't even afford to pay for his own things.
What?
Like, yeah. Like, he had trouble paying for his phone. Like, he couldn't
what
afford.
did he do for work?
He worked at Nordstrom.
What year?
Like 2-3 years ago. It was like 2020.
2020.
Yeah, it's like during that
How old
time
is
when
he?
this happened. I have no idea how old he is. I don't remember.
Dang.
We're not friends anymore. I don't keep up with that. I don't keep up with his age. So yeah, so he was there. He so after that he got mad at me and told me like that it wasn't like he was gonna pay for it, but that he wanted to impress the guy that lived here.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
because this was during the time that he was like going back and forth. He like, wanted to impress him.
It wasn't even so people can actually eat it. It was just to impress one person.
Yes, because he was going to be there.
Do you have a picture of him?
Yeah, I do actually on my phone.
You should pull it up on later.
Because it looks like it's even know.
Yes, I want to see if all of this emotional pain was worth it.
I don't know. It probably wasn't. Yeah, but but after the whole hotel thing, and then so after that, he called me randomly. I told him, you know what? The only reason you should be calling me is to tell me you're going to pay me back the money you owe me.
Oh my God.
And I told him, other than that, I don't want to hear from you.
So how much money does he owe you?
A few grand.
Oh my God. Of course, you ain't going to be getting that.
No, which I knew I wasn't. Like, I was just wanting to end the relationship that I was like, I'm done.
So did you send a text or whenever he called, you're like, I'm done with this friendship. Bye.
It was all over text message.
Oh.
I will show them to you, but my text message delete after so many months.
Really?
They automatically delete.
Mine doesn't. I keep them.
I don't. I hate having so much information in there.
You never know whenever it's going to come in handy.
True. But
I'm not talking about blackmail. Just had to clarify that.
I delete everything.
Yeah. God, that's horrible.
Yeah. So after that, I was like, you know what? It's over.
Yeah. But I ended my friendship with one of my longest friends. Let's see. We met sophomore year. I ended our friendship January 2022. So 13, 12, 11. We were friends for 11 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah. And how we met was because the first friend that I discussed introduced us into each other. And apparently that's a really common thing is whenever you introduce your friend into somebody else, they become best friends. And then like something happens to where they stick together and you're out of the friend group. And that's what happened with us. And so we were really good friends. And my mom never really liked any of my friends because she's like, oh, they're bad for you, you know? And, you know, sometimes moms know best.
Yeah.
But with this one, she's like, she's okay. Like she didn't have anything bad to say about her. And so she would come to me with my family to Galveston and we were so close. Like everybody in high school that knew us knew that if you knew her, you knew me. Mm-hmm. And whenever my husband was interested in like getting to know me, he specifically asked in this one class that he knew she was in. And he's like, hey, does anyone here know Marissa? And then my friend, my ex-friend was like, me, I do. He's like, oh, you do? I didn't know y'all knew each other. And she was like, he knows that we're joint at the freaking hip. And I'm like, yeah.
Like he was just baiting it.
Yes. And so like things were good. And I definitely feel like I did put more effort in the friendship than what she did. Mm-hmm. Granted, after high school, like she didn't have a license. She didn't drive or anything like that. And it was just like a personal decision that she had. And so like I would pick her up from work and I would drop her off at home. We'd hang out. And I didn't mind doing that. She was my best friend. And then I moved a little bit further away and I'm like, I don't think I can pick you up from work. And she's like, that's okay. I can start Ubering. I was like, okay, cool. And then I ended up moving further out to Jersey Village area. And I had invited her over. And whenever she would drink, she was a very touchy person. Mm-hmm. And I never told her anything because I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know, it's not a big deal. But then one time I was talking to her and I was like, yeah, whenever you get drunk, like you get really touchy. Like you grab my arm and I don't like to be touched. Like I don't like to be touched by my friends. Like, do not touch me, please. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I did that. I was like, no, you're good. I never brought it up. And I mean, now I am. So then a couple months later, we were drinking and then she went to go grab my arm. She's like, oh, sorry. You're right. I do get touchy. I was like, yeah, it's not a big deal. And this one time I had invited her over and we were drinking and my husband was home and I was sitting on the couch and she was sitting next to me. Then she got up to go use the bathroom and then she went to go sit down by Matt and they were talking and I was like, oh, whatever. Obviously I know like Matt is not her taste in men whatsoever. But I was like, hey, I'm about to be going to bed. Can you call your mom to come pick you up? And she's like, yeah, I can. I was like, okay, cool. And so I was on the couch and Matt and her, they had a lot in common. Like they liked the same things. They liked SNL, like weird videos that I don't understand the joke in it. But she was talking to him and then I was kind of falling asleep. And then I woke up to them laughing. And then I opened my eyes and then I look over and then she's grabbing his arm, like touching him. And I'm like, okay, I know my husband is not her type, but I do not like that whatsoever. And then I'm like, accidents happen one time. Okay, whatever. So then I stay awake. And then I ask her, I'm like, hey, how far is your mom? And she's like, oh, I forgot to text her. I was like, oh, well, you should probably text her. Like, I'm about to be going to bed now. So I made sure she texted her.
Yeah.
And then I was falling asleep again. And then I was like, no, I got to stay awake. And then she starts grabbing his arm again. And then like he pushes her arm off of him. And then he stands up and he just like walks across the living room. And he's like, yeah, that is funny. And, because my husband, he doesn't like to be touched either. Like we can touch each other. That's fine. But just other people.
It's different when you're like expecting it and you're welcoming it and someone's just doing it randomly.
Yeah. And then my husband, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to be going to bed. Y'all have a good night. It was good seeing you again, so-and-so. And then she's like, good night. I was like, good night, babe. And then the next day, I was like, I can't let this slide. Like, I let a lot of stuff slide, but I'm not going to let her, touching my husband like that slide. So, or boyfriend at the time. So I texted her. I was like, hey, I know you got a little touchy whenever you got drunk. It just made me extremely uncomfortable that you were grabbing Matt's arm. And then the second time you went to go grab his arm, he got up and went across the living room because he was visibly uncomfortable. And I was like, I know it was an honest mistake. It's not a big deal. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize what I was doing. I really hope Matt doesn't feel too uncomfortable with me. And I'm like, what about me?
Yeah, because you're the one watching it.
Yeah. And I was like, it's fine. Just, next time. And I never brought her over after that. And that was like right before the lockdowns and everything. Mm-hmm. And then the lockdowns happened. And then it was like around October whenever they were kind of lifting some of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm going to have like a small Halloween get together. I was like, Matt's not going to be there because he's going to be working. And I was like, I have these 2 people from work that are coming over. And I have another person who's coming over. And you can come over. I want you there. You're my best friend. She's like, okay. Is it okay if my significant other comes over? I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't really know them. It'll be nice to get to meet them. And she's like, okay. And then one of my coworkers that I had invited, she was like, hey, I woke up. I'm not feeling good. I was like, okay, not a big deal. I got like 4 other people coming. And then one of my old coworkers was like, hey, my kid's sick. I can't come. I was like, okay, that's fine. My best friend, her significant other, and somebody that I'm really good friends with that I work with. And then she ended up texting me and she was like, my old best friend, she was like, hey, I'm really sorry, but I'm having really bad anxiety. I don't think that I'm going to be able to come with my significant other. I was like, oh, that's fine. I was like, it's not a big deal. Or they weren't even dating at the time, actually. They were just friends.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I was like, it's okay. And I was like, great. Like, I bought all this food and like nobody's coming.
Yeah.
And then my coworker, which she's my best friend now, she's like, hey, what time should I come over? And I started crying whenever I read the text message. I was like, literally, you're the only person coming over. I was like, oh, it's not happening anymore. Like, everybody flaked out on me. Like, just don't worry about it. God, this is actually kind of making me emotional.
No. You could have called me. I would have gone.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, ugh. But, and then later on that day or that night, she texted me. She's like, my old best friend, she was like, oh my God, I had the most amazing night. I went out with this person and all of their friends. And I'm like,
so she blew you off for somebody else? What a bitch.
She blew me off, yeah. And I was like, I was mad. I was like, oh, great for you. Like, cool. And I'm like, oh, anyways. So that happened. And then like COVID started getting really bad again. I feel like we talk about COVID a lot. But COVID
because
is like,
it happened so long.
Yeah, it happened so long. And it was like such a huge like development area for me. But
me too. Actually, that's actually when I started coming out.
Really?
Yeah, like I started coming out and then COVID started. Everything shut down. I couldn't go out anymore.
I always knew, George.
I know. It wasn't a surprise. Like I didn't care.
Yeah, honestly. I'm like, I remember thinking, I was like, I hope he can finally come to terms with it or like be open about it.
No, it was just because my family was super religious.
Yeah, I completely get it.
So, but now all of them kind of don't go to church anymore, so it doesn't even matter.
You had to wait for the perfect time.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, but so then my dad ended up getting sick from COVID, and he ended up passing away, and we didn't really have a good relationship. Yeah. And I had texted her about it, and she's like, OMG, so sorry to hear about that. And I was like, yeah, you know, it's not a big deal. But her mom would like check in with me frequently versus her checking in.
Her.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. And there was this one time where it was like maybe a month, 2 months after my dad had passed, my mom ended up getting COVID. And like I low-key had PTSD. Like it is literally documented in my psychiatrist and in my therapist notes. I have PTSD from COVID. From the passing of my dad from COVID. And so I called her and I was crying. I was like, dude, my mom has COVID. Like my dad just died not too long ago. I'm going to lose my mom. Like I'm freaking out right now. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, I'm at so-and-so's house. I'll call you back later. And I'm like,
you're having a mental breakdown. She just ditched you.
Yeah, I'm having a mental breakdown. And I called her and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I called my husband. I was talking to him and he's like, it's going to be okay. Like your mom's healthier. Like she doesn't have any like pre-existing conditions like your dad did. Like my husband was able to calm me down. I was like, yeah, you know, right. You're right. And then I called her whenever like I was just like frustrated with like the family situation that was going on. And I was talking to her and I was like, it's just so frustrating. And I was crying again. And then she's like, hey, so-and-so's calling me on the other line and she's going through a lot right now. So I'm going to answer her call. And I'm like, second time I'm crying to you on the phone and you're not like, you're not there for me.
That's
like,
not a true friend.
Yeah. And it took me a long time to realize that. And I mean, sometimes I do think about her and I'm like, oh, you know, and like whenever I saw that her cat passed away, because I still have her mom on Facebook because her mom was nothing but nice to me. Like I love her mom.
It was just her.
Yeah. And I saw that her cat had passed away and like that cat meant so much because it came at a time where she needed that cat. And I texted her and I was like, hey, I was like, I know we don't talk, but I'm so sorry to hear about your cat. If there's anything you need, just let me know. And I didn't get a response. And I'm like, that's okay. And then I was thinking about it and I just felt bad for how I ended it. I was like, I sent her a long text message about every little thing. And I feel like maybe it would have been different if at the time I actually spoke up for myself and I said something about it rather than just letting it sit and fester and then just be like, this.
You blew up.
Yeah, it was like a bomb that just went off. And then I texted her. I was like, hey, I just wanted to text you and apologize for how I ended things. It wasn't fair and I should have given you more closure. And I was talking to my therapist about that. And she was like, you probably shouldn't have sent that text message because from what you told me, I was like, yeah, but I feel like I could have like talked to her and like worked on it instead of just like cutting her out completely. Because that's one.
But you need to cuss people out sometimes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So I was talking to my therapist about it. And one of the things that my husband tells me that scares him about me is how I go from 0 to 100 extremely quickly. And whenever it comes to like ending friendships and everything, I am very quick to cut you off. Just like I cut my dad off, like no middle ground.
I get it. The same thing.
Yeah, but that's something that I'm trying to work on. But I feel like the friends that I have right now, like they don't do anything. Like I don't understand like friends fighting and stuff.
Mm.
Like my best friend, like she's been my best friend for God, since I was 20, one of my best friends since I was like 23. Mm-hmm. And she's older than me. Shout out to BB. She knows who she is. She ain't listening to this, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm so sorry for crying. I wasn't expecting to cry. We'll blame it on the buzz balls.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to let it out sometimes.
Yeah.
Clearly you were holding it in.
Yeah. But this was a good episode idea.
Yeah, it was.
So text your friends and tell them happy National Best Friend Day or belated Best Friends Day whenever you're hearing this.
Yeah, because it won't be till Tuesday this goes out.
Yeah. And if you have any stories about friends that you ended friendships with or things going on, feel free to send us a text down below on the little text us button. That's it for today's episode of Girls and Gays Let's Talk. Thanks for hanging out with us.
If something we said hit home or made you laugh, cry, or text your toxic ex, you know what to do.
Leave us a review, share the episode with your favorite chaotic friend, and don't forget to follow us on socials for behind-the-scenes drama and messy opinions.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Until then, stay loud, stay soft, and stay exactly who you are.
Bye. Bye.